Hey, what's up guys, welcome back to another Gnawy video. Today I'm going to be telling you how to perfect your movement in Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, but before I do, make sure to subscribe so you don't miss any of my future videos about this game, and also so that we can get to 1,000 subscribers as soon as possible. So join us on that journey, and also stay up to date with my videos by clicking the subscribe button. Alright, the first part of Mario Kart 8 Deluxe movement that you want to get down so you can perfect it is drifting. Alright, so let's start off by talking about soft drifting. Soft drifting is essentially when you hold your stick at a certain angle. This angle is just below the 45-degree angle, because essentially once you hit that 45-degree angle, your mini turbos will start charging slower, but when you're below that 45-degree angle, they'll still charge fast. If you just stay a good amount below, you're going to be turning extremely sharp, and that doesn't work on most turns. So essentially by going just below that 45-degree angle, you're staying as shallow as possible while still getting that fast mini turbo charge. When you're in a soft drift and you want to sort of slide the other way of your drift, you're going to want to hold this angle on your joystick. The next mechanic is one thing that I forget to do a lot, and you probably have never seen me do it in videos, and that is delayed drifting. Delayed drifting is essentially taking that mechanic of turning sharply to charge a faster mini turbo to a bit of an extreme. So when you press R, you hop and then you land and you can drift. But here's the thing, a lot of people will press R and also push their stick at the same time, and this is bad because this essentially makes you turn in the air, and that's not getting you any charge on your mini turbo. Instead, if you hop and then push your stick right as you hit the ground, it's going to give your car a very quick, sharp turn. So essentially, the angle is going to be the same as if you were turning in the air, except you're getting it a little bit later, but a lot faster. This will make you end up in the same spot and the same angle as if you did it normally, but then since your kart turns super sharp for a second, it's going to partially charge your mini turbo. And it might not sound like a huge difference, but it does actually make a big difference, so make sure you do this on almost every drift. The last thing I want to say about drifting, I have a section later about snaking, but the last thing I want to say about drifting specifically is that you should probably use outside drifting rather than inside drifting, because it just works a lot more smooth, and also some of the mechanics coming up are just going to work a lot better or only work on outside drifting. Alright, the next movement mechanic is taking good lines. Now when I say good, you're probably thinking about lines that are super sharp. The sharper, the better. But that's not always the case, because sometimes sharper lines are a little too risky if you don't know the track well. You should probably not try to take super sharp, perfect lines on every turn if that turn is bordering off-road or void, because those two things are extremely punishing to fall on. If it's a wall, then I'd say the risk and reward ratio is a lot better, and therefore even if you don't know the track very well, you don't know these turns very well, you haven't practiced it in time trials, you're not risking that much, but you are possibly gaining a lot. Also, you should probably just ignore this if you need like more items or items at all, because sometimes items are just more important than driving sharply. Alright, the next mechanic is called sliding. So essentially in Mario Kart, sometimes you will fall with a lot of speed onto the ground. This means you have a lot of momentum. Now, when you turn, drift, or hop, this momentum is kept. Therefore, it's kind of harder to control your kart. So the way you're going to combat this is using a technique called sliding. Sliding is essentially landing into a drift and then immediately letting go of R to essentially cancel the drift. This will get rid of your momentum and keep your speed at the same time, which will allow your kart to be a lot straighter and also will allow you to have a lot more control over your kart. Alright, now I said I was going to talk about snaking. We're right here. Let's talk about snaking. So essentially, snaking is chaining a bunch of mini turbos on a straightaway, or essentially somewhere where you probably wouldn't be getting that many drifts. This gets even more effective with the more mini turbo your kart has. Mini turbo is a hidden stat, so if you want to find out how much mini turbo your kart has, you can go to mk8dxbuilder.com, or you can just tell by looking at the acceleration stat, which isn't hidden, and those two stats are essentially the higher acceleration you have, the higher mini turbo you have. Now, snaking sometimes requires something called alignment hopping. Pretty much when you hop, you can hold one direction or another on your stick, and then you'll essentially hop in that direction. Hopping in a direction turns your car much quicker than turning if it only takes 1 or 2 hops for whatever you're doing, because anything more than that, you're just going to be better off turning your car and drifting. So sometimes you'll oversteer on a turn, and alignment hopping is just hopping to get yourself back on a normal angle for that turn. But here's the thing, sometimes you can intentionally oversteer to get a higher mini turbo level and therefore go faster, and just alignment hop to get back to normal. Alignment hopping is useful for snaking because sometimes snaking will require you to overturn a little bit, and normally you would hit the off-road, fall in the void, or hit a fence. Now, alignment hopping shouldn't be done on every turn, but when you're starting to learn it, I would recommend to just do it on every single turn, even if it's necessarily not the most effective way to do it. Alright, so those are the really only things you need to master movement in Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. I'm probably going to make a video about how to master gliding specifically if you were hoping to see some stuff about that, but I don't even know if there's enough material to even put in a video like that, so we'll see. But anyway, if you want to see that video and other videos, then make sure to subscribe because we want to get to 1K as soon as possible, and you want to learn more about Mario Kart 8 Deluxe.